Ready?
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Are you ready, true believers? Welcome to the first episode of the Ultimate Guide to UMVC3. Before we begin, I want to give a quick shout out to Lenny Things for creating that wonderful intro. Give her a follow, link to her Twitters in the description below. Today, we're going to take a look at what control scheme you should be using, break down the game's basic mechanics, and give a few tips on how to use each of them effectively. Let's get right into it, starting with the controls. So, the first thing you should do when starting the game is to immediately go to the options menu and go to operation mode. Once in, we have to change our control type to normal and our auto super jump setting to off. It's important to do this, as having that simple mode and those auto super jumps severely restrict what you're allowed to do in-game and will stunt your growth as a player. When you open the controller settings, you'll notice that there are a few preset layouts that are definitely worth checking out. If you're playing on a controller, the alpha layout is for you. If you play on an arcade stick, pick the beta layout. It's important to memorize these layouts by the button's function, not the name of the button itself. What I mean is, instead of thinking of your buttons as square, triangle, circle, and X, you should think of them as light, medium, heavy, and special. It'll make learning the game a whole lot easier. I'll be using L, M, H, and S to talk about buttons, and when I refer to motions, I'll be using the numpad notation. Here's a brief guide to number pad notation and your button layout, courtesy of Eternal Yoshi. Give him a follow on Twitter too. He deserves it. Now, with our buttons set up, let's talk game mechanics. For a lot of you, throws in this game are going to feel very strange. To perform a throw, you have to be touching the opponent's character, and then you hit forward plus H, or back plus H. Throws have no startup animation. If you're too far away to land a throw when you hit that 6H, you won't get a throw. Instead, you'll just get a heavy attack. This leads to an option select, where you get a heavy attack if you're too far away, and a throw if you're close enough. If you play a character like Nova, you'll be abusing this a lot. If you're caught in a throw, input your own throw command. If you do it fast enough, you'll break out. Chances are you won't be able to react to this. Instead of looking for a throw animation, it's better to look out for situations where a throw is likely to happen. For example, if a character is air dashing at you and seems pretty close, you might want to hit that forward and heavy. Like pretty much every other fighting game, Marvel has a dash. What makes it unique is that, although you can dash by using a 6-6 input, instead we dash using light plus medium. Do this while holding 4, and you'll get a backdash instead. Dashing in this manner gives you access to many advanced movement options, which we'll actually go over in the next episode. For now, all you need to know is that during a dash, you have 3 main options to cancel it. You can crouch, jump, or attack. You can't get a normal grab while you're dashing. You'll have to cancel your dash with that crouch I told you about earlier. Though you are vulnerable to being hit while dashing, canceling into a crouch or jump keeps you safe, allowing you to block almost instantly. Play around with this trick. I guarantee you'll find this useful in your matches. While you're in block stun, you can press L plus M to push your opponent away and reduce chip damage. Although there are certain setups that can bypass this, in general, it's a good idea to do this anytime you block, in order to avoid high pressure situations. Keep in mind, if you attempt to push block and assist, the main character won't get pushed away. Make sure you know which character you're push blocking. You can press L plus M at any point during your block stun, meaning you're able to delay the push block, throwing your opponent's timing off and giving you a chance to analyze the situation rather than just mashing carelessly. If you remember no other mechanic from this video, remember this one. You will win so many more games if you use this. Alright, we've made a pretty good start so far. The next section will be all about tag mechanics. Before we dive in, let me go over something that confuses a lot of new players. Marvel 3's health bars are pretty strange, and it's not immediately clear which assist button calls in which character. Here's how I think of it. Your assist 1 button corresponds to the character that's closer to the foreground, while your assist 2 button corresponds to that character sitting way in the back. Got it? Good. Now, let's talk about assists. By pressing either one of your assist buttons, the corresponding character will jump out, perform a special move, and then leave. After calling an assist, you won't be able to call another one until you get the Assist OK notification on that character's health bar. We're going to dedicate an entire video to assists, because they're pretty weird if you haven't used one in a fighting game before, but here are some essential things for now. There are 3 main situations where you can't call an assist. You can't call them while super jumping, you can't call them while you're performing a special move, and you can't call them if you're being hit. Besides that, you pretty much have free reign. In general, some good times to use assists are during a block stream, when your main character is in a wake-up situation, and of course, during combos. It's also pretty good to use your assists in neutral, but be warned, if they get hit, they'll take unscaled damage, making them very easy to kill. Try your best to keep your assists safe. If you hold down the assist button rather than tap it, your main character will leave and the assist character of the button you pressed will dive right in. You'll often hear players refer to this as a hard tag. The incoming hit they perform is an overhead, but it's extremely unsafe. In general, hard tagging is not recommended. Instead, you'll mostly be using other methods to switch between your characters, which we'll talk about later. Here's a trick for you. If you're already holding down the tag button as you recover, you'll execute a hard tag on the first frame you're allowed to. Use this to get out of tricky mix-up situations. By hitting the Assist 1 and Assist 2 buttons together, your entire team will jump in and perform their level 1 supers. Crossover combinations will take 1 to 3 bars, depending on how much meter you have available. So, if you only have 1 bar, only your main character will do a super. With 2 bars, your main character and your first assist will both do their supers. The super that your character performs during a crossover combination changes depending on which assist you picked for them, so be sure to know in advance which super you'll get. The usefulness of crossover combination is pretty team specific. You should test it out with your team in training mode, see what it looks like. In general, if one of your character's supers lasts longer than the others, you can use the extra block stun to go for mix-up opportunities. Test this out, you might find some fun setups. While blocking, you can hit forward plus an assist button to perform a crossover counter. Your assist character will jump in, replacing your main character, and doing the special move assigned as their assist. Most players will never do this, as it's really only effective as a counter if your assist happens to have some invulnerability during it. Invulnerable crossover counters are very rare, only applying to Shoryuken-like assists. Uppercuts, you know. It's worth noting that, because your character jumps in while doing a special move, it could be cancelled into a super or even X-Factor. At the cost of 1 bar, inputting 236 plus an assist button lets you force the opponent to tag into a character of your choice. Snapbacks are the fastest moves in the game, making them a decent panic option in high-pressure situations. However, be careful, as they lack invulnerability. When you execute a snapback, the character you snap in will be in a tricky incoming situation, giving you incredible mix-up potential. Use this to mess up your opponent's team order and defeat their most problematic character early, stopping any chance of them making a comeback later on. After launching your opponent with S, during an air combo, you can hit S plus a certain direction to execute a team aerial combo, causing your assist character to jump in and continue your string. There are 3 different directions that you can use to perform a TAC, and each has its benefits. The up TAC will increase your damage and is a good way to guarantee a kill after starting a combo on your opponent. A side TAC will take away 1 bar of meter from your opponent. If you're playing against a Phoenix player, you're gonna want to do this. A down TAC will give you an extra bar of meter. If you're just short of the resources you need to kill, a down TAC will give you just what you need to finish them off. If your opponent attempts a TAC on you, you can escape the combo if you predict which direction they chose. If you think your opponent will hit you with an up TAC, before they have a chance to do it, you mash up and S first. If you guess the direction correctly, you'll break out of the combo, resetting the situation back to neutral. Finally, though I won't discuss it much today, I have to mention that there's a bug associated with TACs that led to the development of infinite combos. If you were watching Twitch Rivals, you definitely saw one of these being performed. Thanks, Cloud. This is character-specific stuff, so you'll learn how to do these once we get to our character guides. Whenever you perform a super move, if you have the resources, you can tag in your first assist character to jump in and perform a super of their own. To do this, input the super move of the next character. If I do a super with Dante, and I want to switch into Dr. Doom, during Dante's super, I can input 623 plus LNM for his Sphere Flame super, 214 plus LNM for his Photon Array, or 236L plus M for his level 3, if I have the meter. With additional resources, you can do this another time, tagging into your third character. Just so you know, there are 2 restrictions to these. You can't choose which character jumps in to do the super, as the first character will always jump in. And if you DHC into a level 3, you can't then DHC again into a level 1. That just doesn't work. You'll most often go for this in combos, of course, but DHCs can also be a fantastic defensive move, letting a character with low health tag out and recharge safely, as opposed to just going for a hard tag and getting punished. By pressing L, M, H, and S at the same time, your character will glow red and you'll enter X Factor. You can activate X Factor pretty much whenever, even when you're blocking. While in X Factor, you get many benefits. You restore your red health, you don't take chip damage, your damage increases, and your speed increases. This is a very powerful tool, but keep in mind that it's a temporary state and you only get 1 per match. The amount of X Factor time you get is dependent on how many characters you have left. If your whole team is alive, X Factor doesn't really last long at all, but if you're on your last character, it can last for a while. When you're just starting out, the best way to use X Factor is to save it until your very last character, and then use it to make a comeback. However, there's a lot more to X Factor and how it should be used, so much so that we'll be giving X Factor its own video. Alright everyone, I know that was a lot to take in, but that's it! We've covered every single mechanic in the game. Try to integrate these techniques into your game plan one at a time, starting with Advancing Guard and X Factor. I promise you, if you work on using at least those 2 things in your matches, you'll see a lot more wins coming your way. If you want to practice against other new players, I've posted a link to the UMVC3 community Discord in the description. This is a wonderful community containing players of all skill levels. They even host weekly tournaments for new players only. You should enter. I know you can do well. If you want to ask me any questions about the game, or just want to say hi, feel free to follow me on Twitter and follow me on Twitch too. I haven't been streaming recently, but the semester's almost over and I can't wait to stream again. Thanks so much for watching the video. Next time, we'll be going over our complete movement guide. Beginner, intermediate, and yes, even advanced level. Keep practicing until then. See you later. I hope you have a great day. Bye!